Well, friends, it's hard to believe we're already to our last monthly update for 2025 as we look back at November's numbers. Overall, some encouraging numbers. So we're just going to jump right into it as we normally do and take a look at what we saw for the month of November, looking at the four key areas we usually look at: the market overview, buyer activity, listing inventory, and finally interest rates. So let's talk about the market overview. Was another really good month for the number of homes going under contract with 377 homes going under contract. This was a nice increase over November 2024, and it was actually just a few units higher than October, which is a little bit surprising, as we normally don't see that this time of year. So year to date, we're up about 4.5% for the number of homes that have gone under contract in Lubbock County. We're up about 4% for the actual closings or transactions. Median home price is up about 3.5%, and average home price about 2%. As you see, this is a little bit lower than we saw through the first three quarters of this year, because the first three quarters we were seeing about a 3% or a little bit stronger average appreciation rate in the average home price. But as we've gotten later in the year and inventory's held up, it's put a little more pressure on home sellers to be honest in their pricing, some giving stronger concessions in pricing. And so that's where we see that reflected in that 2% rather than being 3% like it was earlier in the year. As far as days on market, the data says that the days on market is a little bit less than this time last year. I think that's a little suspicious. And I think that's skewed a little bit because we have seen a number of agents who will terminate listings, relist them with a new MLS number to give them a fresh start online. The system sometimes catches it, sometimes don't, but that skews the days on market when they do that. I think that we're at least as many days on market as we were this time last year, if not more, simply because we have a significant more amount of inventory, as you'll see in just a moment. Under contract activity, as I referenced a minute ago, as you look at August and September, they were almost dead even, and then October and November were almost dead even. Normally in our market, as you get past June, you'll see just a slow, steady stair step down into the end of the year in buyer activity. And while we have seen it decline some from the peak part of the year, it has not had the slow, steady decline as it has. So it looks like the lowering of interest rates closer to 6% has helped keep buyers engaged in the market later than you would normally expect to see. As you look at the active listings, this is probably the most significant change we've seen since my last report last month. Through the month of November, we averaged about 1,750 active listings in Lubbock County. As you look back the last 12 months, these are the highest levels we've seen in the last 12 months, and really the highest levels we've seen since going back to around the 2010 timeframe. What's interesting though is over the last week and a half or so, we have seen a number of homes come off the market, almost 200 as a matter of fact. As of today, we're sitting about 1,556 active Lubbock County listings. I think this is just an indication of home sellers who are frustrated and weary and are taking a break from the market through the holidays. We'll probably see a fair number of those re-enter the market once we get past the holiday period. The home sellers who are being patient and staying out there are benefiting from this decline because we're actually seeing an uptick in showing activity on the listings that are prepared well and priced well, because sellers are having less to choose from of the stronger, well prepared, well priced listings that are on the market. As we look at the interest rates, we're waiting to see what tomorrow holds as the Fed meets again to see if they're going to make another prime rate adjustment or not. As we've talked about before, that doesn't always have a direct correlation to the mortgage rate, or at least not in a positive way. We, through November, held pretty steady around 6.25% nationally, which is the same as October. Locally, around 6% for a lot of the local lenders. They were fluctuating just a hair above, a hair below, but you can just call it basically 6% through the month of November. I thought we might see a little bit of a decline late last week or this week ahead of the Fed meeting, as it's believed by many the Fed will make an adjustment tomorrow. But as we have seen in the past, sometimes when they make an adjustment on the prime rate down, mortgage rates actually respond by going up. So it'll be interesting to see what the rest of this week holds and what the rest of this year holds. But the good news is we're still holding around 6%. We haven't bounced back up 6.25, 6.5 overall, at least locally. So I know you may have some specific questions about your situation. You don't have to be buying or selling a home to reach out to us. We're always happy to answer any questions about your home, your neighborhood, the market in general, interest rates, or if you just need a referral for a good service provider for a home project, we're always happy to help with that. You can just reach back to us and we'll be glad to take care of you however we can. If you think someone would benefit from this video, feel free to, or this email, feel free to share it to them. Otherwise, we hope you have a happy holiday season and we'll talk to you soon.